Hey, how you doing, everybody? Tacoma Comics here. You thought you could escape me. You can't get away that easily. Let me tell you about the craziness that just ensued. I logged into my Gmail account, my Google account, if you will, and right away, Omega, what's up, my friend? Right away, I started this video, and I was well into like the second stack of comics because I got a bunch of stack of comics here I'm going through. And it occurred to me that nobody was watching. And I'm sitting there going, I ain't vain. I do this for the love of comics. I don't do this because I need people watching my videos. But usually I get 5 or 6 people watching, and by the end I get 8 or 10, and I only got one. Then it occurred to me that I've got two channels. One is for teaching robotics, one is for comic books, one is educational, one is personal. I was on the wrong channel. I still got 2 views of that video, and I don't know who is watching it expecting to see more robotics and then hearing me talk about New Avengers. So I'm in the right place now. This is where I belong. This is where I want to be. This is what I want to be doing, is showing off comics to the people that know about the comics. Because if you don't know, well, now you know. So here we go, man. I got a massive fall. This is all, this is what we're talking about today, right? We're talking about getting the bed clear in the 4th bedroom. So we'll see. I could be wrong, but the fact that you're there, Omega, makes me think I'm right. Mo! Damn, I got people. I got cool people with me right off the bat. That's a good start, man. It's going to be a good Memorial Day weekend, right? Everybody's got to get their comic calls out of the way so they can barbecue meat and eat meat and drink beer. That's what I need to do, but I got to go shopping. I'm like out of beer. So I drank that martini during the first video. Who dat? My friend, how are you? And I'm even out of mixers. So it's either straight, I ran out of vodka. I got a whole bunch of gin, but I got no tonic. And I got, rum, gin or rum, gin. I just got nothing in the house, man. So here's to you. I'll drink a little Sprite. Not that we have to drink on our vacation, but trying to find a Tales to Astonish 61. I could tell you some Tales to Astonish, but can't find you that comic. So let's see what we do have. Hit up Half Price Books. Last couple days, found the nice run. New Avengers #1 is a little ticked up, but Spider-Man joins the Avengers. Found that ass cover. I just called it the ass cover because somebody was just not thinking about story there. Maria Hill, first Maria Hill. There's the other assets that Spider-Woman brings to the table. That is the first Illuminati. Ooh, you scared yet? I know I am. First, Maya Lopez as Ronin. And that's a great cover. I mean, everybody goes over this run like the keys that were leading up to Endgame and Infinity Wars, but I mean, that's a great. Yeah, Comic Love Omega. I had to click show to let that comment show, but yeah, I will let your comment show because it's a Friday and we're having fun. So yeah, I always love that cover, but I'll definitely be selling these at my auction next week. Just because I already have a set. This is not a key, but it's another cool Ronin cover, so we threw it in there. This is actually in really nice condition. For the white usually gets like dirt on this cover, but this is actually really nice. You all know what that is. A few more. This is where he actually joins the Avengers as Ronin. Clint Barton does. It's a horrible cover. This is kind of a cool cover. This is a Venomized cover, but not a variant. This is a straight up first one from Francis Laniel Yu, I believe. His name's on there somewhere. And then I got the last one, which Doctor Strange dies or goes away, so Brother Do Voodoo becomes Dr. Voodoo and becomes the new Sorcerer Supreme, as so says the Ancient One. Yeah, it's a nice little new Avenger pack I picked up. So I mentioned an auction. I will be having an auction next Sunday, June 2nd, not this Sunday, next Sunday. If anybody's interested in participating, hit me up because I am more than happy to have you on an auction with me. I'm going to go like 5 hours. 5 to 10 PC time. I've just pointed to the West Coast in case you didn't catch that. So like the East Coast time, you're going to be, that's like 8 to 2 in the morning or something. But if you only want to show up for the first couple hours, that's fine. So anybody that's interested, hit me up. I'm definitely looking for sellers. I just want to pump it up. Let's see what else we got. We got a little bit of YouTube and Spartan Comics and some other online retailers. If you don't know Spartan Comics and you're looking for some run fillers and stuff, guys got great prices on stuff. So this one actually I picked up at Half Price Books. It's Teen Titans #4. It is some sort of minor key. Yeah, Who Dat Comics is going to be on my auction. He always brings the heat. He always brings the slabs, always brings the surprises, and he never disappoints. Can only hope that his wife feels the same way. New Teen Titans #10 and New Teen Titans #25. All three of those are minor keys, and I couldn't tell you what was key about them because I'm not a New Teen Titans fan. I purchase things that I didn't necessarily want because sometimes you see good deals and you buy them and you spend money on stuff you don't want. You know what I'm talking about. You might have done that once in your life. Bought a comic because you're like, oh, wow, that's a hard to find comic. Then you get home, you're like, I don't read those comics. I don't collect those comics. I don't even like those comics. You've been there. A little Who Dat, nice. That'll be awesome. Picked up a few more of these from Spartan Comics too. I only need like 1 or 2 of these in the run. Of course, I need that 633 variant that goes for like 100 and something. But these are both Stephanie Hans, so boom, happy to get them. For once, I got onto the bandwagon before it took off, and maybe I overdid it, but I hit up YouTube and got a whole bunch of cheapies. So 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, the fried pie variant for #1. Might have got a few issues of those. Matt Rosenberg says that he's been hired to write a screenplay for 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank. So the time to get that book is now. The time to get that book is not like a year from now when the screenplay gets optioned, right? Or it goes into production. It might go nowhere, but if you buy it now, it's cheap. Sleepy Reader, how you doing, my friend? If you buy it now, it's cheap, and there's an upside to it. And if you have not read 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, it is a phenomenal read. Before Stranger Things got started, before Die started doing the Dungeons and Dragons, every issue opens with the kids playing a Dungeons and Dragons game, and the artwork is phenomenal because it looks like dragons that kids drew in 6th grade. So it's absolutely a fabulous read. Matt Rosenberg and Tyler Boss and Aaron Maurer at his best. Is it Aaron? No, Aaron Maurer is a friend of mine. I don't know who Maurer is. I'm looking at it like I remembered those names. I didn't remember those names. I'm just reading the names off the comic there. Boss, Maurer, and Rosenberg. So I got this one, which will go into the PC. I thought I had this, but I don't think I ever actually got this. I got the trade paperback signed by Matt Rosenberg, but this one signed by Rosenberg and Boss. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then I hooked up with this Ghost variant here too, which is pretty darn cool. So I'm excited about that. Let's move on and see. I went to a little show with my friend David Sinking Nearman Comics. He is the bargainer extraordinaire, man. You ever want to go to a show and make some money or get some comics on the cheap? Bring Sinking Nearman Comics with you. The guy knows how to bargain, and he knows what to look for too. I miss stuff, man. I'll be honest with you. I missed some stuff, and he was on it. So $3. First appearance of Normie Osborn. I thought that was really darn cool. I totally missed that. I'm trying to collect all the X-23s, so I got this one from the run. I don't know if this is the first run. It's Craig Kyle and Chris Yost. So I think that's an earlier run. Very, very cool. Happy to get that because I know I don't have that one. Grabbed myself a couple Angela Asgard's Assassins #1, Stephanie Hans cover. I can't remember. I think Angela's sister appears in this or Angela's lover appears in this. And people are speculating that will be the first official lesbian in the MCU. I don't know where people get these specs or get this information from. It sounds like a weird thing to know, but sometimes they become true. I don't care. I'll buy 5 copies of those just because it's Stephanie Hans anyway, and I love that cover. Um, Speaking of Angela, there's her first appearance outside of the MCU. Spawn number 9. The guy had like tons of prices on these things, and everything was half price. So this said $10, but it turned out to be 5. Issue number 12. Nothing spectacular happens this issue, but I don't have it. I have almost all of Chew 1 through 60, so I was super excited to find one that I don't have without having to pay an arm and a leg for it. Again, these were like $1 each or something. Why do I keep buying these? I don't know. I have enough. I don't need them. I think that they are just going to go straight to school and go to my students, my student comic book box, because honestly, I have too many of them. This is pretty cool. Half price books. I picked this up. It was, which is number 1, second printing. Another amazing horror read. But what I really, really liked, as opposed to the Ghost variant, is I got the Phantom variant of Witches number 2. I love that cover. I was unfamiliar with this. I actually had to take it home, and I did not realize what I had until I got it. And now I'm torn between keeping it and trying to sell it at auction, because I have Witches 1 through 6 plus like the Christmas special, holiday special. But um, that's just I love that cover, man. That's a cool cover, and I got to stop handling it because I can see I'm getting fingerprint marks on the back there. But anyway, it's pretty cool. Pick this up. They don't Sleepy Reader, and I haven't started comic book club yet. I'm planning on it next year. I kind of brought comics in late this year. Um, they seem to be all over the place, and I have them in a box. I want to get some sort of shelving to display them so that you don't have to go through like 60 comics to find what you want. So I want to like put the Star Wars comics and put the Lumberjanes comics and put the superhero comics and kind of separate them all into categories of some sort. So I haven't seen any particular like yen for a certain comic. Some people $10 for that witches. Um, we'll see. Maybe we can work out a trade or something. Who knows? It is pretty sweet, though. It is pretty sweet. But let's see. There's Poor Man, Silver Age Dave, Sleepy Reader's here. Justa Rican is here, apparently. I missed that. Hello to everybody. Issue 5. Issue 5 only have one issue of Comic Lover Meg. I want to sell a pack. I want to sell a set, but I'm missing. You guys are bidding. My auction's next Sunday, not this week, not this Sunday. Wolf Blitz is in here. I love that you guys are bidding on stuff. But yeah, it is interesting approach and interesting to see what's going on there. Anyway, Dazzler, when she came out, was kind of cool, but she's always looked at as kind of like a second-rate, like goofy musician, not really a superhero, more of a pop music superhero, a pop superhero if you want. But when you go back now and look at the Sienkiewicz covers that he did for Dazzler, they are absolutely amazing and gorgeous. And this is one of them. I mean, Sienkiewicz's work is just beautiful. It's varied, and seeing what he does on this Dazzler is for $1. I was like, wow, I'll take that. Dazzler's getting a lot of buzz, by the way. People hear that she's coming into the MCU with the first X-Men, or she's in Dark Phoenix or something. Dazzler's getting buzz. If you follow Key Collector Comics, they just put out an alert for that X-Men 130, which I now have 2 copies of. So I might be putting that up at auction. I found this for $1 or $2, little Infinity Crusade foily number 1. Thought that was pretty cool. Let's see what else we got. This was awesome. I had no idea. This is all, we're back at Half Price Books if you're following my journey. Yeah, she might be in Phoenix. That's what I heard. I have no idea that this went to an issue 7. And as garish as this color is, it actually works really well as a background for this artwork. So I kind of really like that, and I thought it was kind of cool to pair that up with second printing of this. So seventh printing, second printing. I thought that was kind of cool. Those are going on my PCs. Pretty nice. Yeah, guys, if you haven't checked it out, Poor Man's Comics he's been voraciously posting stuff to buy. So go get some of his stuff, man. He's got some really good comics up there. I know we're making a deal on one of them, I think. Definitely go look at a Poor Man's Comics on Instagram. He's got some good stuff there. I saw this Batgirl, and I was gonna let it go. It's a Dustin Wynn cover. He does Descender and Ascender with Jeff Lemire. But just something about the color scheme. I'm like, I literally picked this up, put it back, picked it up, put it back, picked it up, and said, "Yeah, let's take it." So I like that cover a lot. Really nice one. I got these off of Spartan Comics. I didn't have number 4. I had number 3. I've got number 3 like 3 times now. Spartan Comics, really cheap place to buy comics. These are both Stephanie Hahn's, Angela's Asgard Assassins. Try to show that to you. See the beautiful Hahn's artwork. I can't pronounce right now. See the reflection in the knife there of Angela. I just thought that was really cool. So I got those. I got a few extra copies now. If you have A-Team number 1, you might as well go purchase A-Team number 2 when you go to a con and you see it. So that was again at that con with Seeking Nearman's Comics. Found a whole bunch of these for like $1 each or something. This is Usagi Yojimbo number 5 from the Fantagraphics run. I don't know how high up the Fantagraphics run went, but it wasn't that far before Dark Horse bought them out. And number 6. If you don't read Usagi Yojimbo, I mean, they're coming out with a new number 1 and coming out with a TV show. You've got to read them. The thing that I love the most about this, you can pick up, and they're up to like issue 180 before they just rebooted it with the number 1 coming out next month. You can read any issue, and almost 95% of them are self-contained stories. There are very few stories that are like, oh my God, this is the best of the lot. They're just all really good, and they're just a lot of fun. He knows his history and folklore of Japanese samurai area. There's my man, David Sinking Nearman's Comics. He's the one who I got all this stuff with. So if you ever get a chance to pick these up on the cheap, I'm trying to go for like the entire 180 comic run. They're really great. And if you ever come across Albedo number 2, pick it up for me. If you get it on the cheap. You won't get it on the cheap. That's the first appearance of Albedo 4. Was that the second appearance then? I'm not sure. Omega, let us know. But yeah, that's a comic to have. So here's 46, and I haven't been numbering all these, but these are just, odd ones in the run. 79, 83, and then this is kind of cool. Grab myself 100, so I was excited about that. Let's see. The 1 in 50 variant. I will have to look that up, David. Like I said, you never steer me wrong, so I got to go check that out. It sounds really cool. Yeah, man, it's a great comic. Usagi, usability, Yojimbo, it's all the same. It is a great comic, and definitely something to look at. Hey, if you have not heard, Sunday, June 2nd, I'm doing an auction. You are all invited to participate. Just hit me up in the chat, hit me up on Instagram, whatever you want to do. If you're interested in joining in my auction, it's going from 5 to 10 PCT time, West Coast time. So if you're on the East Coast, you can start at 8, go a couple hours, and then go to bed. And then the West Coast will take over. So the idea is that it will go. You sold them for free. It will go forever. So yeah, I'm going to go like 5 hours. I know I got Poor Man's Comics on there. I know I got Who Dat Comics on there. Drew Manchu is interested. I know I got Comic Smurf coming up. White Whale might join me for a little bit. I know I got Discovery Bay on there. I might even get Lindsay's collectibles on there, Geeked Out Knickknacks. So yeah, a lot of good stuff. All right, let's look at some big boy books. I still got some stacks here. Dude, AceCon. I looked at the creators on that, not feeling like that there's somebody I got to get to. You might find some good books, might get some SIGs, but I think I'm gonna just hold out for a while. We will see. Wolf, let me know, man. You know, you don't have to make up your mind now. And if you say you want to do it and you back out, it's not gonna kill me, right? I'm gonna send you an email with a Hangout link, and if you don't join us, you don't join us. So, don't sweat it. Okay. Sandman #1. I love this. This was one of those. It looks like really nice, like a 9.0, but it's got some rippling along here that we first thought was on the bag, but then looked, it was actually, some of this is on the book. I paired this up with an X-Men and got a really good deal on it. This was listed 25, the X-Men's listed as 18. So altogether, that's 43, and I went down to like 30 or something. Got the guy to give me some money back. And again, Seeking Nearman Comics was there, and he was looking at them, and he was the one who was helping me bargain because, like I said, he really knows his stuff. I bought this the other day. It was listed at 35, but I had won a $20 credit at this $25 credit store. So I got it for 10, and it's in much worse condition. But I just thought it's cool to have the two together there and to see Kirby rip himself off in between the Sandman and the Demon. I don't know, that cracks me up to see that. Also, got this one pretty cheap. X Factor First Apocalypse. Grab this one. This is the one I paired up with the Sandman, X-Men 103. As far as I recall, nothing major happens in there, but still a nice early X-Men. I just checked for my Claremont run, and Claremont was from Giant Size X-Men #1 all the way to X-Men 279. So a 280 issue run plus annuals. I'm missing 23 comics in the run, so I'm pretty cool like that. Let's check the chat before I go on. All About Comics does not still do auctions, and the reason why, and I hope he doesn't mind me speaking out of turn, JP is just a really great guy and a really great family man, and he had some family issues to take care of. I don't want to go into details, but he just had to step away for a little bit, and I'm sure he'll be back at some point. I'm sure he'll be back strong, but he just had to bow out because it takes a lot of effort to put on an auction, put on a weekly show. He was at one point, he was doing 2 weekly shows plus hauls plus the auction. So he's on like 4 times a week. To put that much content out on a consistent basis is difficult, man. Really, really difficult. So yeah, he's taking a break. I'm certainly not picking up the weekly slack for him. For one thing, he had like 800 subscribers. I have 400. That's why I'm really trying to promote this big, because you might get 10%, 5% of your subscribers show up for an auction. And if you only have 20 to 40 people, you can get worried about whether you're going to make decent money on the auction. So, that's why I'm promoting it here, and I'll be promoting it with Discovery Bay a lot on Instagram next week. But it's tough. It's really tough. So, man, the work that he did was greatly appreciated. And, he needs to take a break. He needs to take a break. That's all right. Let's see what else is going on. I don't know if I can beat the 8-hour record, because I think that's as long as Google Hangouts gives you, but we'll see. And Hudat's going to open some Spider Booth mystery boxes. So that is good. I appreciate that. And he's going to promote the auction as well. Awesome. Finally snagged this. The guy had $80 written on it. And I'm like, no, I'll give you 60. And he said, okay. So this is the last booth. Like, we literally came in this way, went all the way around, came back, last booth before the door. this guy had the best comics, but also had the most ridiculous prices on it. That's when I realized, though, that you could easily talk him down in price. This, by the way, if you're not familiar, is the first appearance of Squirrel Girl. He was really willing to make deals. So I got that for 60 instead of 80, which I thought was a pretty fair price. I grabbed this first appearance of Rogue. Um, I think he had 60 on it, and I offered him 40. He wanted to go, or he had whatever he had. I tried to talk him down. I got him down to 55. Hey, Thomas Churchill, how you doing, my friend? I've not seen you in a while. And Dave was like, "Oh, you would have taken that for 50." And I didn't think he was going to take it for 50. Dave was like, "You should have held out. He would have done 50 on it." And I was like, 55 when it was listed at 80. I think that's pretty good. This is my second copy. This is much nicer in this newsstand. The other copy I have will definitely go up at auction. And then this was the book. Speaking of Usagi, you guys tell me soft G or hard G in the chat. Usagi Yojimbo or Usagi Yojimbo? Soft G or hard G? Hit it in the chat right now. This is a beautiful copy, and he had $20 on this. And I already have a copy that I got from Timua on Instagram. So I was like, would you take 15? And then Dave just kind of jumped in. He goes, would you take 10? And I was like, what the fuck? This is my deal, dude. The guy's like, yeah, I do 10. So Dave handed him 10. And I'm like, I was going to bid on that. Not bid. I was going to buy that. I just thought it was really, really creepy. And then, of course, Dave handed it to me, which I should have expected, but I didn't. So I thought that was really cool of him. So thank you, Dave. Much appreciated. We've been doing AOKs back and forth with each other for a little bit now, and hopefully that'll continue because, like I said, the man has an eye for books and the man has a nose for deals. Let's put these off to the side and see what else that's the second time. You guys can't hear that. That's the second time the toilet's been flushed. Newsstand since my son's been home. I don't know what he's doing that he's had to use the bathroom twice in the length of this video. X-Men got really weird in the 300 in the early 90s, but I like the late Claremont run and I love the late Fraction run. So I'm probably going to get those next after I finish my original Claremont run. And then I'll look and I'll realize I've got, giant size X-Men 1 all the way through 279, actually about 315. And then I'll have like 400 and something to 504. And then I'll probably tell myself, why don't you just get the rest of them? And I'll probably end up doing it because I have the same problem you guys have. I can't say no. So that was just like a $1 find at Half Price Books or something. This one I grabbed at the auction at the con for $1 or $2. And this one is, this one is Alpha Flight #1. The same one that I got in my Sunshine Mystery Box that is worth like $1 or $2. This is a variant for New Superman #5 or 4. 4. I like New Superman. I like it a lot. Actually, a really good read. So I've been picking those up when I can. Target X #3. I do not have this. I don't have any of the Target X ones, so I thought I'd get that. Really good read in a comic that did not get a lot of love was Saladin Ahmed's work with Christian Ward on Black Bolt. 1, 2, 3, and 4. He did a 12-issue run similar to what Tom King does on Vision of Mr. Miracle, and now it looks like on a new Batman Catwoman 12-issue series that's coming out. Black Bolt's a great read. I'm trying to pick up the whole thing. I've only got like 1 through 6 so far. This is Strangers in Paradise #6. I think I've got 4 and 5 or something, so I thought I'd pick it up. It was only $1. Is that the first Blink 317? I think so. If not, then I made a mistake. #1, Midnight Suns Unlimited. Don't know why I picked that up, but I did. Vision Scarlet Witch #1. I really need #3. If anybody has #3, let me know because I could definitely use #3 in that 12-issue series. Solo Avengers starring Hawkeye. I picked up #2. Again, I'm not sure why. Just because I like the cover, or I can't remember. I did. Number 20, though, I don't have. I think I have 1 through 18. So, and I love Moondragon. Always thought she was cool. Kind of like Vampirella in green with a bald head. Right? It could be Vampirella if that was red and maybe a little curvier and long hair. Anyway, I picked that up. This was an older comic. The drawing says 83. I don't know if that's as old as this was, but it's just an interview with the creators of ElfQuest, which was one of my favorite comics growing up. So I grabbed that. And then for $1 or $2, I grabbed another copy of this, which was the first Nick Fury that looks like Samuel L. Jackson. And then big one is I saw this. I'm like, ooh, first Corvus Glaive, right? And then Sinking Near Mint Comics came through again, and he found this. And this is the first appearance of the Black Order, all of them, Ebony Maw, Corvus Glaive, Proxima Midnight, and I think is it Supergiant or Black Dwarf and Supergiant? I can't remember all 4 of their names. One of them only appears on the cover or doesn't even appear. One of the 5 doesn't appear in the book, which is funny because I only thought there was 4 of them. I picked myself up a Die second printing, number 1, because I didn't have. So I only had 1 copy of second printing, and I want at least 2 copies of everything. White Whale Comics did an auction about 2 weeks ago, and oh my Lord, did I get a deal from him. So if you don't know Alec and you don't know White Whale Comics, hit him up, sub him up. Great guy, all over YouTube. Really interesting, entertaining, great knowledge of comics, and great deals. So he doubles on all these. So he sold me them. I think I ended up paying him $75. X-Men 105, which I believe is the first Corsair, the first cameo of Starjammers, Corsair being the father of Cyclops and Havoc and Vulcan. And these are in really nice condition for the age of the comics. I mean, I would put this one at a 7.5 or maybe an 8.0, which is really beautiful. 116, which is this is the first time that Wolverine's healing powers are mentioned, which is really interesting, right? Because his healing powers and his heightened senses, hearing and smelling and stuff, is what makes him a mutant. Being a ninja is because he learned how to be a ninja. Being a tracker is because he was taught to be a tracker. Having adamantium skull and skeleton and claws was because he was operated on by the government. But his mutant power, the actual thing that makes him a mutant, is the healing factor, which isn't mentioned until 116. So 94 at 16, that's 33 issues into the run before they even mention that he's got a healing factor. I thought that was kind of interesting. 119 is Moses Magnum. This is just such a silly name. Not much happened there. And now I'm not sure about 124. Somebody told me this was the first X-Men that was on the direct market, but I haven't been able to get confirmation of that. So I really don't know if that's true or not. But it's an X-Men that I needed in the run. Colossus wearing his little peasant like overalls with the with the hammer and scythe on. So whatever. Now that's what I want. That's what I bought from Alec of White Whale Comics. But he threw in some AOKs because I had given him some earlier, or just because he's a nice guy. He wasn't tit for tat. He threw in the Adam Hughes Magic Order. He threw in, I believe this is a variant to Grant Morrison's Nameless. And he threw in Revival #1, which I gave to a friend of mine at work because he's a big Revival fan, but doesn't have that. I already had that. And then I don't know if you realized, but Alec Keating, who is not related to Michael Keating, wrote his own comic. And I have not gotten around to reading this yet. That's why it's still out, not bagged and boarded. He sent me issue 1. issue 2, and issue 3, which I thought was pretty damn cool. I think a lot of us fancy ourselves as writers would like to think that we could one day write a comic, but he went ahead and actually did it. All right, my friends, last stack, Realm number 3. Good read, fun read, nothing special. I've got 1 and 2, and there's number 3, and I'm done with that. Moon Knight, I love this cover. Moon Knight, Punisher, Spider-Man, and Wolverine does not appear in this comic. I always thought that was pretty cool. But it's just a cool cover, $2, whatever. A-Force, I picked up 1 and 2. There's beautiful Jorge Molina covers. This is getting a lot of, yay, A-Force buzz recently. So I picked those up at Half Price Books. You got this one because my friend is a big Old Man Logan fan, and this is the first Lemire, so I just got that for him. A couple more A-Forces that I was missing in the run. This is number 5 in the first run. I think this is the last one, the first run. The second run went up to 11 or 12, and so I was missing 8 and 9 in that run. Got a lot of A-Force, got to tell you. Wicked and Divine number 2. I think this is the issue 3. I don't remember if I have this or not. I think I might have it, but we'll have to see. Issue 15, and then the rest of these, man, these are just things I got because they were cheap, and I figured I could sell them, or they just look cool to read. I have not read Black Badge by Matt Kint. I would like to. Matt Kint and Tyler Jenkins, who Tyler and Matt did Grass Kings together. And hey, David, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And so I thought I'd give this one a try. Looks pretty interesting. Heard it's pretty good. Matt Kint did Department H, which I absolutely loved. Unbeatable Squirrel Girl number 1. They're ending that at 50, which is pretty cool. Captain Marvel and Carol Corps. It's kind of beat up here, but I like this. It's a promotional, not for sale one. And, you know, Half Price Books does half price on anything that they don't actually have a price marked on. But since they couldn't find, it wasn't for sale, there was no price on this. So the guy just gave it to me, which I thought was pretty cool. Quantum Teams are go. If you don't know Magdalene Visaggio, her work is phenomenal. Vagrant Queen is coming out by Sci-Fi next year. She just some great writing. Eternity Girl was up for a bunch of Eisners. This was an earlier series she did. I've already got it. I figure I'll pick up an extra one because I can. Brian K. Vaughan, We Stand on Guard. You know, he's got a television deal. So I picked up some extras of those. I've got some of the graphic novels of these. This one's written by Brian K. Vaughan, The Escapist. And it's inspired by Michael Chabon's The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Kay. Any comic book fan, I would highly suggest you read The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. Phenomenal, phenomenal book. Found this one for a half-off cover price. This is the first cameo of Gwenpool. I am super, 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 super stoked. Gwenpool. I did it again. This is the first cameo of Spider-Gwen, apparently before Edge of Spider-Verse number 2. So really excited about that. I found Horizon number 1. I found myself Farmhand number 1. I found myself John Wick number 1. And then rounded out, I found this sitting there. This is Stephanie Hans. Unfortunately, there are like 3 or 4 printings of this, and they're all just, the words are different. So I got to get a bunch of those, which is annoying. Found some more Angela Asgard's Assassin, not realizing I already had them, not remembering that I had already purchased some online to get delivered, but there's a few more of those. Mark Millar, Empress number 1, Chrononauts number 1, and then Killer Be Killed number 1. And I might get this one slab. I don't get anything slabbed. I've bought a few slabs. I don't get comics slabbed. But this is in such perfect condition. When people say, oh, that's a 9/8 all day, that might be a 9/8 all day right there. I mean, you can look. I don't see the corner. I don't see ticks. I think that's the bag right there. If that's what you're looking at, thinking I'm a liar. I just think it's beautiful. Um, I already got a copy of that, but that might be one to slab and then sell. I don't know what number ones are still going for anymore. But that, my friends, is it. I know that Beulah's probably got a show that I cut into. I know other people got shows at 6. I know the Comic Core people are doing shows later. So for those of you that visited, thank you. For those of you who are still here, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. I got to go buy some bags and boards, and I got to get all these comics away. Remember, I got an auction coming up Sunday, June 2nd at 5 p.m. PC time. All right. Take care, guys. Thank you, Wolf. I appreciate it. I'll see you later. I'll see everybody later. Take care.